So, back for another episode of Believe in Boyt with this Naganadal team. And Naganadal had such a great first showing. Being able to double miss its very first snarl. So, hopefully the only way is up after that. You would hope so. Double snarl miss doesn't happen too often. But at least it didn't happen in a completely detrimental position, because I'd probably lost that game anyway. But that is a Golisopod. Is it Golisopod? Don't actually know which one it is. Is it Golisopod or Golisopod? Either way, it's there. And doesn't do very well against Naganadal. Naganadal does very well here. Naganadal does fantastic here. So I can definitely see a side weakness policy on that Registeel with the Volt Switch on the Raichu. I think I want to leave Naganadal in the back. Yeah, I'll leave Naganadal in the back. I need to bring at least Volcarona for Registeel. I am bringing Naganadal for it. Urshifu does well against it as well if it doesn't Airstream. I think I'm going to lead Urshifu. I'm going to lead Urshifu and Volcarona, and I'm going to have Rillaboom and Naganadal in the back. So I can Rage Powder away if I need to with the Volcarona. I'll get my Banded Surging Strikes off. I can Rage Powder the Volt Switch from the Raichu as well, and be able to stop the weakness policy from being activated if they lead with Raichu and Registeel, but then they can very easily just fake out in that position as well, which is what they're leading, so it is almost certainly the side Volt Switch. It is a bit awkward if they do fake out an Airstream. Fake out the Urshifu, that is. That would definitely not be ideal. And I'm going to look like a complete fool if they just fake out the Urshifu. So I think I'm leaning towards Surging Strikes and Dynamax Volcarona. That wasn't my plan initially, but I feel like I'm forced to, but here we are. That's Tapu Fini, that's fine. I'm okay with that. Even if they Dynamax, I'm going to get a huge hit onto this Registeel. Are they going to be Misty Seed? I'd prefer Misty Seed, I think. Okay, so here's weakness policy. But then the Raichu pretty much gave that away regardless. I guess they read into the Rage Powder, but I am quite surprised they didn't Volt Switch themselves. We'll see if they Dynamax and if they are bulky enough to survive. Because Max Flare will still do a very reasonable chunk of damage. There's the Dynamax. So I was intending on Dynamaxing Naganadal this game, but too late now. I'm going to give them their weakness policy. And I'm going to give them an Airstream, most likely, like +2. So we'll have to see if I'm strong enough here with the Urshifu and the Volcarona. And even if not, they'd be getting pretty close to being into... they'd be getting pretty close to being in Glassy Glide range, question mark. And I may need to switch out Urshifu so I can Aqua Jet. I need Volcarona to be nice and strong here. I don't think it's going to be nice and strong. But we will see. Not nice and strong enough. But probably Aqua Jet range. So I think I need to switch out my... No weakness policy. There's a Rockfall. Is it going to be the Life Orb one? So I think I'm actually okay with this. Because this gives the Fake Switch into Naganadal, and I'll just Surging Strikes KO the Registeel and Sludge Bomb the Tapu Fini. But Naganadal does underspeed a Raichu, which is a bit awkward. Are they going to need the Life Orb one? It is Life Orb, okay. So they are super close to being KO'd themselves. Is it worth just letting them KO themselves to their own Life Orb? Could go into Rillaboom as well, actually, because Rillaboom will KO the Tapu Fini. Naganadal won't. So this way I can just Surging Strikes and Grassy Glide. Might be worth Swords Dancing as well, actually. The Surging Strikes will pin the Celesteela. If they Moonblast KO my Urshifu, I've got a +2 Rillaboom. What else did they have? They had their own Rillaboom, which Naganadel beats. Light Spot as well. Yeah, I reckon I can get a Swords Dance here. I'm going to Surging Strikes KO the Celesteela and Swords Dance. So will they just let me KO the Finny? We will see. So it could switch into Raichu, but then that would have gone down to Grassy Glide and Sandstorm. If they max guard here, that gives me a Beast Boost on my Naganadel as well. And that would put me in a very good position. You'd assume they don't have Nuzzle on Raichu if they have Finny, but you know, I've seen weirder things. That was a weird thing. I'm not sure why that's happening. Why would you preserve Celesteela at that low health? You're sacrificing your Raichu! What are you doing? Well, this worked out perfectly, because I KO'd the Raichu and got a Swords Dance, so... I'm not sure why they didn't just sacrifice Celesteela there, and get their Raichu in for... Well, not for free, because obviously it's paid, because the Celesteela would have been KO'd, but now you've lost your Raichu, and your Celesteela is still going to get KO'd by anything. So... pretty content with the Volcarona trade, because now I'm looking in a very good position. So I can Grassy Glide, I think pretty much KO whatever comes in. I guess Rillaboom can survive. Whimsicott can survive. Maybe. But that was a good turn. Very curious switch out, but a good turn. It's even Golisopod. Golisopod. Can Golisopod KO Rillaboom with first impression? Well, that's not something you see too often, but it is just Whimsicott. That's fine. So I am going to Surging Strikes. And I can get away with Grassy Glide and Finny now. There's nothing really stopping me. If they switch into Celesteela to sack it, that's a sacked Celesteela, so, you know, that's fine. It's just Tailwinds. But they surely can't deal with my Rillaboom well enough, because they're not specs on the Finny, so they won't have enough damage output. Even the double up, maybe Fake Tears would. Maybe 2 Moonblasts would, but I doubt it. And Whimsicott will be 2-shot by this Surging Strikes. Because it is banded. Okay, maybe not. Looks like they maybe defensively invested on that Whimsicott. Not even maybe, that's gotta be. It's just a eject button? Okay, fair enough. Makes sense that they're invested if they're eject button. Which means that they haven't got the damage output to be able to KO my Rillaboom with a double Moonblast now. So I can still just KO this Finny. Saying how good Naganadel was here, and I didn't even need it. Like, what is this? Could switch out the Rillaboom just to get the grassy terrain back, but I don't think I need to. I'm pretty confident Rillaboom can survive whatever is going to be thrown at it, and even if it can't, then Naganadel still wins. Maybe Fake Tears would. Fake Tears critical hit. But I don't need to Surging Strike the Finny, I can Surging Strike the Whimsicott, because Grassy Glide is absolutely KOing this Finny, even outside of the grassy terrain. So they have to try and KO the Rillaboom, but I'm pretty sure they can't. Like, given the HP, like, given the fact that I'm not 2-shotting with Surging Strikes means that their Whimsicott is not strong enough to be able to get the KO on Rillaboom with the Moonblast, so it does have to be Fake Tears, but even then, I don't think so. Because it wasn't Specs. If it was Specs, that would have got close, but they're attacking Urshifu for some reason. I'm not sure why. Because if you're going for Fake Tears like that, then you want to be going for the Rillaboom. But now we'll never know if the Finny was able to KO. I'm pretty sure I knew, because it wasn't Specs. But now Naganadel can just click Sludge Bomb and win. So I guess Naganadel does something, but, you know, Rillaboom would have been enough in this endgame regardless. But at least Naganadel got to hit the field. And we'll get a KO in this match. But very curious switch out of... There's the Rage Quit. Very curious switch out of the of the Celesteela there. Like, surely you just sack it at that point. I guess maybe they wanted to get it into Tailwind, because if they got it into Tailwind, it would be able to get off another attack, but that was not worth, in my opinion. Keeping Raichu was a lot better. Getting Fake Out back, threatening the Urshifu. I guess they threatened the Urshifu with both the fairies, but getting Fake Out pressure would have been good for them. Much better than just a pretty much KO'd Pokemon that would even KO themselves if they attack. Okay, so that's just the Hexa Cup winning team. So I'm pretty sure I want to go Grimmsnarl Naganadel, because that team just always leads with Spectrier Clefairy, which is a very good lead. It is a very good lead. But Naganadel Grimmsnarl should be able to deal with that somewhat. Because we've already found out that Naganadel can survive a Helping Hand Max Phantasm even without the Dynamax if I set up Light Screen. So that would be good. Then I want Landorus as the Dynamax late game would be very good. So I don't want to Dynamax my Naganadel. Yeah, I think that's fine. And then it's between Rillaboom and Urshifu, I think. Rillaboom provides Fake Outs. More priority for the Registeel, but I'm not too concerned about Registeel. Urshifu, threatened by Rillaboom, but it's an extra insurance against the Incineroar, which I guess Rillaboom technically is, and it's a bit more insurance against the Urshifu as well. Although, was it a Dark or Water Urshifu on this team? I think it was Water. Pretty sure it was Water. That's a cool training card. I like that. But here is the Spectrier and Clefairy. Okay, that is not Spectrier and Clefairy. So I think that's okay. You can just switch into Landorus here. Oh, the Landorus switch-in is very free. Do I do it with Grimmsnarl or with Naganadel? Because this team doesn't have a ground resist. Well, I guess Rillaboom is, but, you know, ground immunity. So when I get in Landorus, I can just Quake whenever I want. So I'm definitely switching into Landorus. Which one is it, though? Because I could be parting shotting this turn. There was specs on the Registeel, so I'm not concerned with that. I'm going to switch with Grimmsnarl. And I am going to... Which one would be better? I don't think it really matters. But I'm going to Sludge Bomb the Registeel. Because I can just Quake KO the Incineroar. And they could be parting shotting anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So if there's an Electro Web, Landorus doesn't care. If it's Thunderbolt, Assault Vest means that the Naganadel shouldn't care. They do Fake Out into... Okay, that's good. And just Electro Web, so yeah, like, I don't really care about the speed drop on Naganadel, because I'm not getting the speed drop on Landorus. I guess if I went for Sludge Bomb into the Incineroar, and I could have got a little bit more away with a... Wow, that did a lot. Could have got a bit more away with a Airstream into the Incineroar covering the Rillaboom switch in. But if I go for Sludge Bomb into that as well, then that covers that. There's no ground immunity on this team. If I don't care about the Registeel, it's doing nothing at the moment, so I'm just going to double into the Incineroar. If it switches into Rillaboom, then, you know, it would have been Sludge Bombed. But it did not, so I'm effectively leaving a somewhat useless Registeel on the field, and then I'm just going to be quaking things. I guess this leaves me open to the Urshifu being faster than me still. If I'd have gone for Airstream and Sludge Bomb, that would have probably been a little bit better. But I think this is still fine, because it was a Specs Registeel, so, you know, like, that's doing okay chip to the Naganadel, but it'll do less now that I'll get the Quake boost. Ah, actually I'm going to get the double KO because they very kindly gave me the speed drop. Is that better for me or not? Because I think it would have been better to just leave the Registeel on the field, because now they get to switch into whatever they're going to Dynamax, and and something else. You'd assume there's an Urshifu somewhere, right? If it's not Spectria, then I'm probably going to switch out my Naganadel into Grimmsnarl so that I can get my speeds back. Like, even though I've got a special attack boost, I think I prefer the speed boost because it will outspeed, or neutral speed I should say, it will outspeed the Urshifu, and the Urshifu's the biggest threat to the Landorus. But if it was Sash, it's not going to Oko. It is Spectria though, so that's a bit more awkward. And it is Urshifu. Okay. So, what would be better here? If they double into Landorus, that is not ideal. What do I have in the back? Rillaboom and Grimmsnarl. Okay, that's not bad. So if I go for Max Guard and Sludge Bomb into the Urshifu, if they have to double into Landorus to be able to KO it. No, they don't. They can get away with a Phantasm into Naganadel to drop my defense so that Surging Strikes would KO me. So that is not something I considered, and that is the way for them to go. So I should have just switched into Grimmsnarl that turn. I guess I can get away with just Sucker Punch and Grassy Glide to KO the Spectria eventually. Yeah, because Phantasm will go into Naganadel. Assault Vest is going to let me live. Because my spreads are amazing, which you can go and check out over on the Fun Conventional of the Naganadel that was put up on Sunday. And then should be Surging Strikes into the Landorus because it would have then KO'd because of the defense drop. But now I'm going to be able to get a +1 Sludge Bomb into this Urshifu, bring it down to its Sash, and have a 30% chance of KOing the Urshifu. Okay, not bring it down to its Sash and not poison it, but that is still fine. That is still fine, because I am going to... I think I'm going to try and get super cheeky here. I could switch out to Rillaboom on the Surging Strikes. And I could preserve my Grimmsnarl as well. No, Grimmsnarl does well here. Like, is it worth letting it take the Phantasm? Because I can probably win with just Grassy Glide and Sucker Punch at this point. So I'm just going to double attack, actually. Because I can pin the Urshifu with the Grassy Glide and Spectria with 2 Sucker Punches. So I think just sacrificing both is actually fine. Because Rillaboom and Grimmsnarl will win the endgame for me. I just need to click 3 attacks now. I guess they're going to be Grenade, but... the only thing would be if they detect the Urshifu. Because this is now going to absolutely KO the Landorus. I definitely could have switched into Rillaboom, but I think this is fine. It's a Grimnade. Can they KO my Grimmsnarl with a Max Strike? I'm not sure. The big question is, can I KO their Spectria with Grassy Glide and Sucker Punch? And I actually think I want to go for that, even though that could be a choke. I think I want to just go for that to find out if I can. Like, that's more beneficial, right? That's the point of practice, to be able to improve for the next time. So, I want to find out if this Sucker Punch and Grassy Glide, Miracle Seed boosted, is enough to KO a Dynamax Spectria. I think that's much more beneficial to find out. If the Urshifu detects, even better. But I think this is fine. There you go. So, like, you know, wanting to learn for the future ends up being the optimal move. So we will see. I reckon I will. And I did. So there we go. We won and we learned. Wonderful. That would be the title of the video, but that would be a spoiler. So I'm not going to put that. But that would have been a great title if it wasn't a spoiler. But yeah, that was good. But I do have some attack investment on the Grimmsnarl, because I don't like my Grimmsnarl just being full bulk and not be able to do any damage. So, very nice, very nice. I also do, like, prefer black glasses on my Grimmsnarl, but, you know, screens, so like clay. But that was good, that was good. It's not too bad. I'm pretty content with sacrificing Landorus and Naganadel there, because Rillaboom and Grimmsnarl cleaned up the endgame quite nicely. Hopefully Naganaddle's gonna do... Like, it's done okay. Like, it sludge bombed a few times. Still waiting for a proper Naganaddle sweep, but... there's a Registeel. I guess Naganaddle has Heat Wave. This would look like a pretty normal team if that Registeel was Metagross, but I also do not like having Rillaboom and Finny on the same team. Like, that just feels so wrong to me. Pick your terrain. Don't override each other's. So... Also, just don't use Finny. Use Primarina or Azumarill, but... What are we going to do here? Because they've got, like, the Screens Landorus stuff as well. So my Urshifu has a chance of OHKOing Dynamax Landorus. Depending on... If it's got some bulk, it won't. But if it's got no bulk, it has a very good chance of OHKOing. Because it breaks through Intimidate, breaks through Screen. So I definitely want to lead with Urshifu here. Urshifu is really good if it avoids the terrains. I was going to say Tapus, but you know. The joke is that Rillaboom is Tapu Bulu, but... Or at least Tapu Bulu's replacement. I'm going to go with Urshifu. And I'm going to go with Volcarona as covering for the terrain stuff, because then I can Rage Powder, or just deal with the Rillaboom that way. I'm going to bring my own Landorus, and I'm running out of time, and that means because Naganaddle. So, there we go. Rillaboom was maybe better, but Naganaddle is fine. So, are they just going to lead with Screens? Screens, like, Grimmsnarl Landorus would be the most ideal, for sure. Okay, Registeel. I think I'm okay with that. Does Registeel get rock moves? Because if it doesn't, I can get away with a Quiver Dance here. Quiver Dance would be really nice. And it definitely could be weakness policy on the Registeel as well, so I don't want to close combat it. Surging Strikes will break through a Reflect as well. Does Registeel get a rock move? Even still, would that even be enough to KO my Volcarona? Because it's not that strong, right? What did I have in the back? Naganaddle can deal with the Grimmsnarl quite easily. Landorus is fine. So I'm going to Surging Strikes the Registeel, and I am going to Quiver Dance, and we're going to find out if they can do anything to my Volcarona. Just Fake Out, okay. Don't see Fake Out too often. Flame Body, let's go. Never happens. Never happens. But they didn't Dynamax, so this Bandage Surging Strikes is going to do a lot to this Registeel. That's not quite going to two-shot, but that is very good damage. And what is the Registeel going to do? Is it going to, like, Curse or something? Like, kind of bulky setup, or... Iron Defense, yeah. So, like, don't care. I can't afford to Quiver Dance now. I can just go for Heat Wave and just lefties. Okay, that's fine. So, don't need to worry about weakness policy as well. So, I can just Surging Strikes again. I can... Is it worth just Quiver Dancing? Because they can't really do anything, right? Like, even if they're Iron Defensing, who cares? And I should Quiver Dance faster than the Landorus? Yes, no? I think. Like, even if they get the Body Press into Urshifu and do very good damage, I think that's still fine. Quiver Dance sets up for the future, because, like, Heat Waving would have been just thinking for this turn, but Quiver Dancing is thinking for the future turns. So, not quite going to KO, and would have KO'd with the Heat Wave, even with the Light Screen, like, for sure. But is it just going to be Body Press? So what could they do that would be super bad here? Rest? Even then, wouldn't care. Yeah, just Body Press. Like, this will do very good damage. That is very good damage. But now I can just Heat Wave and Surging Strikes the Grimmsnarl. And that should maybe be a double KO? I could very easily Quiver Dance again. I think that might be worth. Because if I Surging Strikes the Grimmsnarl, even if I lose the Urshifu to a Body Press again, that's +2 on the Volcarona, and that's very easily an opportunity to sweep the Volcarona at this point. Because they've got no offensive pressure against the Volcarona. They are now attacking with the Grimmsnarl, so they may be Spirit Breaking to reduce my special attack, or just KOing the Urshifu, but I think this has got to be fine, right? Ooh, that's going to be so close. No, it's not going to. It's not going to at all. But, you know, If I'd have Heat Waved, that would have been a double KO. Is that worth not doing that? Because Spirit Break will either KO Urshifu, which it will, and it's not going to lower my special attack, so I am going to be still at +2. And Body Press is going to burn themselves. Like, literally, Flame Body is not 30%, I swear. I can still miss Heat Waves, which is a bit awkward. But I can just go into Landorus here and Swords Dance and Heat Wave to KO both Pokemon. So, as long as I hit my Heat Waves, I am sorted. So I'll have 2 Pokemon at +2. Both of them definitely can Dynamax. We'll see if they got their own Landorus and stuff in the back, but I will Swords Dance. I will claim my probable double KO, hopefully. Yes, no? Even if I miss, it's not the worst thing. But, you know, it would be very preferable if I hit both Heat Waves. Which I do. Nice. So, like, this is like the kind of setup you want, where you get the KOs, and then you get the freest of free setup. Like, they've got no Pokemon on the field. This is as free as this Swords Dance can be. So even if they have Landorus in the back, I'm going to out Landorus them because I'm at +2. And I've also got +2 on the Volcarona, so I'm definitely outspeeding whatever they throw at me with the Volcarona as well. I've still got my Grassy Seed available, which if I choose to Dynamax the Volcarona, I could go for Overgrowth to be able to proc the Grassy Seed, which is like extra synergy, which is really nice. Finny and Landorus? It is Landorus, okay. So I'm pretty sure I want to Dynamax my own Landorus instead. Because Volcarona does not care about this Finny because of its special defense boosts, and Heat Wave into +1 Airstream should be dealing with the Landorus. Yes, no? So I'm going to go for Airstream with the Landorus into their Landorus, and I'm going to Heat Wave. And we will see what happens. Because they all, like, they could be outspeeding my Landorus, because my Landorus is Adamant, not Jolly on this one. So if they're Jolly, then they'd be outspeeding me, but the fact that I'm Dynamaxing first implies that they're going to be Assault Vests, but that will help them with a Heat Wave, but it also means that I should be able to Airstream first. So I'll be able to Airstream twice to KO them before they'd be able to KO me, and they didn't even, so I'm not sure why, because now this Airstream is definitely KOing the Landorus. So, not sure why they didn't Dynamax there, because they threw away any chance of victory, but here we are. So I'm pretty confident this Finny cannot beat the Landorus and the Volcarona, and even if it crits both with Muddy Water, accuracy drops as well, I guess, but I've got a Dynamax, so it doesn't matter. I've still got Naganadel waiting in the back. Which still isn't going to be able to do anything, because it's just watching its friends win. But, there we go. It's going to be boosting my special defenses up even further with the Max Quake. And I will Giga Drain as well into the Finny. We'll see how much the Giga Drain does, because I'm at +2. Yeah, they didn't Spirit Break me. I guess they can, yeah, they're Dynamaxing the Finny now, but way too late. Like, it's +1 Quake and +2 Giga Drain again. Well, I guess they're against their +1 special defense, but Finny will not win. Like, even if they crit the Geyser through my special defense boosts, Naganadel will still be able to win in the back. Like, that is not respectable damage at all, but, you know. Still feeling confident. I did have a light screen up, didn't they? That's why that did pitiful damage. That is not pitiful damage. So, not too bad. Not too bad. Naganadel still needs to do things. It's kind of just been there, but, you know, it'll do things. It's still got a few more episodes to go to be able to do things, but that was a little bit of a redemption given the past episode.